Ladies, welcome to Throwing Spaghetti, the podcast that I created for artists that are tired of pretending that they have it all figured out. Yes. I came up with this idea because after Zoom, coffee date after coffee date, every single talented musician that I've met with has the same exact question, which is, what is working? How do I move the needle? How do I break through to the next level? So instead of gatekeeping those conversations, I thought I should bring them to the forefront. And so I'm so excited to chat with the three of you today about your experiences in this business. And yeah, let's dig into intros and dig into the pasta.
Oh,
all right.
Absolutely.
Okay. I would love to go into intros. So Kalen, would you start and share a bit about yourself and your projects?
Absolutely. So my name is Kalen, and I have two projects. I have a solo project under my name, which is more sort of singer-songwriter, rock, some jazz influences, and then I have a project called Death by Piano, which is dark noir, trip hop, much more theatrical presentations.
It's so good.
And yeah, I've been doing this for a while, and I love it. I just released an album under my solo project very recently called Velvet Night, and I'll tell you probably about this later.
You can show it if you want to show it now.
This is my current throwing spaghetti against the wall effort.
Yes, I love it.
And yeah, a couple publications named me an artist to watch next year, which I'm excited about, but mostly
so well deserved.
Thank you. Mostly I just keep on keeping on.
Love it. Petra.
Hello, I'm Petra Jarrar. That is the name of my artist project. It is just me, myself, and I. I am actually coming back out of musical retirement for the first time in a few years. I'm really excited to be exploring music again. Accolades. Oh my gosh, my history comes from live performance. So I started off before I could even walk, as a classical pianist, traveling all over the country.
I did not know that about you.
For
I
a
didn't
long
know that
time.
either.
I have a few tricks up my sleeve. I'm happy to show you guys later. So started off as a classical pianist, but a lot of my music experience comes from live performing. So I've performed at Webster Hall, Knitting Factory, Hotel Cafe, played at festivals like South by Southwest, and just super happy to be here. And
I'm so excited for your project.
Thank you for this podcast, by the way. You're creating a very important space for independent artists like all of us. So
thank you for being here. I'm honored to be sitting on these couches / chairs with you guys. All right, Emily Sara.
I'm Emily Sara. My project name is also Emily Sara. That's where you can find my stuff. And I make indie pop for women. So this is a good space to be in. I like to call it glitter pop, crying on the dance floor pop. Very inspired by Robin, especially her new stuff that's coming out right now. And Muna and Maisie Peters, and yeah, accolades. I had it. I don't know about accolades. I'm just a girl. But I had an EP / album come out in October called Big Talk. That was like kind of 5 years in the making, and was like a big weight off my chest. And I have a couple singles out now. One of them is almost about to hit 70K on Spotify.
Oh my God, congrats.
Thank you. That feels 70K? Like a win.
That is a huge win. Yeah, let's
so
celebrate the wins.
Excited about that one. It's called Lazy, if you want to listen to it.
It's so good. Wait, like the outfit and like the visuals for it were like so. And when you said glittery pop, is that
glitter pop? Yeah, that's like, I like to call my stuff glitter pop.
Oh my God, it's spot on.
Thank you.
So good. All right, Emily, let's stick with you because I want to like dive into some of these questions with you ladies. So I wanted to talk about some of the insane stories that we have all faced in this business. So Emily, I want to hear the most absurd and surreal moment that you've had in your career.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I was thinking about like I feel like I have a bunch of stories. I think the most recent one that comes to mind is sitting down with a producer who had kind of gone after me and was, came to a show and wanted to sign me to his project, and he had like a recording studio. He wanted to sign me as a developing artist, and he did sign me as a developing artist, and I brought him like 12 songs, and he came over to my apartment and told me that he didn't want to produce that one, but he wanted to produce that one, but he didn't want to do that one.
No.
And that one was like, this one was just like not good, and
God.
kind of like mansplained what pop music was, and if I wanted to do pop, I should go somewhere else, or like it was just, I was like,
I feel like you need to share this person's name.
blown away. I was just blown away, and this was like my first.
Totally.
This was like my first like body of work that I wanted to put out under my name. I hadn't been releasing stuff under my name for very long. It was like my first year in New York. And it really got me. Like that was a moment when I did not have a community to, I had like some women in the community that were like, don't even, like, and they really kept me up, held me up. And I kind of hibernated for a year and wrote, because it was a lot about like my confidence as a songwriter, that he really affected.
Totally.
And so I wrote for a year, and that's what Big Talk basically became.
Yeah.
Kind of like a reclamation of my own capacity as a songwriter. Yeah. So that I feel like was one of the most like surreal, off-putting things that I have had to grapple with, and in a lot of ways I'm like glad that happened, because it really made me pick apart my writing process and like look at myself in the mirror really like critically, but also by the end of the day I was like, I could totally do this, like this is what I'm meant to do,
and trusting yourself. Instead of like having someone tell you
exactly what's good and what's not good.
Good for you.
And now I feel like I know when a song is good. When I'm like, I've made this is mine, and I know that it's good. Other than that, like I think the first song that I recorded, I was living and recording in kind of an abandoned monastery turned like haunted artist retreat in Wisconsin, and that's where I like recorded my first song.
Drop
And
the name.
oh, it was it was crazy.
That's amazing. I know.
It no longer exists. For good reason, but
Oh no.
it was like that was a crazy time too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You hear about these like surreal moments with like men in the studio.
No, exactly.
And then like when it happens, you're like, oh,
Wait, I've heard about that.
your textbook. Got it. Yeah. All right, Kalen, considering how much you've played live in this city in particular, and you've toured a bunch as well, I want to hear, I love like the theater story's gone wrong. So like tell us like the wildest gig that you've ever had, or something that's insane that's happened to you on the road.
Totally. So I mean, we've definitely done like festivals where it seemed like it was going to be a big thing and then was not no thing at all.
Oh, no.
But I think probably the craziest place that I played. So I used to have a band called Ladybug Stingray, which was like kind of a funk performance art duo, and we would do residency, like weekly residencies at all different places. Spike Hill before they developed the whole back room, Alligator Lounge, like basically trying to get a free space to rehearse once a week, but then also it was a great way to pick up some fans. So at one point we ended up finding, I don't know what happened to all the other good spots, but we found this place that I'm not going to name the real name in case the bar still exists.
Okay.
But it was lovingly nicknamed the Murder Bar because it was the creepiest spot on earth, with just like a lot of kind of low life situation. And we would play in the back room, and there would be like old women who would tip us in Coke bags.
Oh my God.
I remember my parents coming I remember my parents coming to a show, and they went to sit on like the couch like thing they had back there, and I was like, don't sit, don't you dare sit. I heard about people like ending up beaten up underneath the pool table there. It was
my God.
was a weird
Rough
spot.
and tumble.
Whoa.
Rough and tumble.
It's so scary.
It was.
So badass.
But
That's
wait,
your
I got to
business, baby.
I got to work on my chops. Got to work on my performance every week there. So
So wild. Wait, what town was this in again?
this was in Greenpoint,
Oh
Brooklyn.
my God. Wait, like just down the block from where we
Down
are?
the block. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Petra.
Yes.
All right. Continuing on this thread of like insane stories that have happened to us in this business, I would love to hear, have you ever been scammed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. There are a lot of people in this industry who claim to be somebody, but they're absolutely con artists. You know, one that like stings me the most because it was just so embarrassing because other people ended up getting involved it was probably like 2020. You know, we're all trying to figure out what we're doing in music, right? And
Right.
we're all trying creative ways to fund our artist projects. So I was working with my collaborative team, came with this idea of releasing my own merch collection. It was going to be my own like first merch line. I was so excited. I had like sold handwritten lyrics and I wrote every single piece of paper. I had tote bags, all of it. And they were like, we're going to take care of everything. Like we have a manufacturer. We'll ship it out. And like, of course, like my friends and my community was so supportive. So they ordered a lot of merch. Nobody ever got the merch.
What?
Nobody got the merch.
No.
I did not get paid
No.
from any of the sales. I had to individually write to everybody and pay people back for the merch that they purchased.
Oh my God.
And then when I released a merch line that was done by myself, I made sure that some freebies were handed out to my very near and dear friends and community. But that one stung the most because
my
we
God.
also believe, like, as artists, like, merch is the way to go. You know, that's how you fund your artist projects. I was very burnt, very, very scammed in that situation.
Oh my God. Did you like contact the Better Business Bureau or like did you contact anybody? Like was there any
By the time I had like all of the paperwork together and reached out to everybody, that business completely folded. I could not find this person or this company anymore. So
Oh God.
that
was
is
fun. That was a really good time.
wild.
So sorry.
I am so sorry. That is crazy.
You know what? We live and we learn. And if anything, what
very
it has
true.
taught me, it's
Yeah.
just, you know, you have your community, but when it comes to making important decisions for yourself, for your artist project, like you are the one that needs to be in control and like, you know, drive
Totally.
that ship and not let anybody else touch what you do. So it was a learning lesson. We've all have them, I know for sure.
Oh my God.
Some are
no,
more
but this
expensive
is-
than others.
Some are
Wild.
really expensive. That is very true.
I have not you're the first merch scam
Story.
incident that I've heard of. That is crazy.
Love being a trendsetter. Love being number one. That's
exactly
all I
what you-
aim to be.
That's what you are, Petra. Kalen, I would love to hear from you about any unhinged request you've ever had, whether it's in the studio or at a gig.
I mean, like Emily, I've also certainly had like so much mansplaining and conformity pressure, but those
Yes.
stories are almost like a dime a dozen and so lame. I guess I mean, after a show, once a guy was like, oh, I want a t-shirt. Great. Bring him over to the merch table. He's like, no, the one you're wearing. And it was a t-shirt that like a white t-shirt that I had bought for $1 and I wrote, "Don't try this at home" on it. And it was like, that one. I was like, this one? Well, that's going to cost you. And he was like, how much?
No way.
I said $100. And so he went.
No way.
He like sent his boyfriend over to the ATM machine and they handed me $100 cash. I had another shirt on underneath, but I was like,
But still.
here's my sweaty shirt. Here.
Oh my God.
I mean, the guys in my band
guy?
thought
Damn.
the guys in my
must have
band
been, like,
thought
high
it
or
was
drunk.
kind of
Right?
100% both of those things.
Okay. It's like not a sober question, I feel like.
Not a sober question, but like
I'm like clutching my invisible pearls. I'm like,
the guys in my band were not comfortable with it, but I was pretty psyched. I mean,
You're
I had
like,
never turned that
$100.
percentage of a profit on anything. And I have so much fun writing these t-shirts, and like my idea is that it would be super fun to just sell those at the end of shows. So
Yeah.
in a sense, it was
Proof of concept?
yeah.
100%. Exactly. Just in a
my God.
mildly creepy way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy too.
Men ask the most interesting favors and questions. There's
Yes.
no boundary.
No boundaries.
They
no
just say
boundaries.
what's on their mind.
Hence why it's only women for this
Thank
podcast episode, okay?
Thank goodness.
All right. Petra, I want to talk a little bit about this business and the struggle that we all face in this business and how it feels to be an artist in the year 2026. Is that what year we're in, you guys?
No,
we
sounds like
I
the
think
future.
so. It doesn't
sounds
sound like
right.
it's real, but it is.
We're in some kind of matrix that I didn't expect, though.
Totally.
100%. What does it
So-
mean to be an artist in 2026?
What does it mean to be an artist in 2026? And I want to know from you, like, what have you ever felt like you've wanted to quit along the way? And if so, tell us the deets.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's a great question, actually. I would say like around 2021 was when I was like, okay, like I need to stop this. But there were more reasons aside from it. Like, I was working with collaborators that I wasn't truly happy with. I hadn't, I lost my dad 10 years ago. I'd never really spent time like focusing on like how to properly grieve that because when the world stopped, we all had to like stop in our own tracks and recount, really like look into our lives a little bit. So that hit me like kind of like a train. So that in combination, he was also, my biggest cheerleader when it came to music. So that was like very rough to like face like, okay, the people I work with kind of suck. I don't have like my favorite person who I've made music for like with me anymore. I just can't do this. So I spent a few years just like in complete musical isolation where I was really trying to figure out what I wanted for my life and my creative passions. And, with that came like my creative outlet, which is songwriting. Like I say I'm a writer first more than anything. So I wrote a lot of different journals, essays, poetry, turned it into songs. And then I was like, okay, maybe there's something here I can work with. Like these are things that like, people go through, like we all deal with like grief and loss in our own ways, but like maybe there's a way to, share that story with the world, which is what inspired my new artist project and finding ways to communicate that to larger audiences. So it definitely, when you feel like so isolated and alone, and honestly, like it can be kind of embarrassing when you go through certain things as an independent artist. Like you don't even want to admit like this happened to me or like I got screwed over or, you're going through this thing.
You got
like
scammed with your merch.
seriously.
Totally.
But everyone kind of knew about that one though. So couldn't really hide. But it feels kind of embarrassing sometimes. And, we live in a social media world where everyone seems to be doing amazing. But we don't get to, we know the truth because we all go through it. So I think what it means to be, and with all those lessons learned of what it means to be an artist in 2026, I think it's just authenticity and being really true to yourself and saying like, I don't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks. I don't know if cursing's allowed on this podcast. I am so sorry.
No, my God, please curse.
I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks
There we go.
into the mic.
I love it.
And just be true to yourself and be your biggest cheerleader and advocate for yourself because, you have to be your fan first and your biggest supporter.
I love
and
that.
I think that's like an important thing in 2026. And I'm seeing a lot of artists share like similar messaging of like,
be
standing
your
their
biggest
ground.
fan.
Yeah.
I'd love that. Oh my God, I'm going to take that home with me.
Oh my God.
That is so great. No, it's really wonderful.
It's for you to
Petra.
share.
And I'm so sorry about your dad. Yeah, my condolences.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate it.
No, of course. Kalen, I want to actually kind of go rogue on our questions because I really do feel like this question is really important. I would love to hear from you too. Like, what does it mean to you to be an artist in 2026? And have you ever been faced with a moment that you felt like you were going to quit? And how did you stay the course?
Yeah, I mean, there have definitely been times, multiple times, where I've really had to ask myself, like, is this making me more happy than it's making me unhappy? Because the creation part makes me really happy. The promotional and marketing part is, I find, really erosive. I find it really, really difficult to figure out how to be authentic in my expression of who I am in a way that is like somehow because you have to almost create a caricature of yourself to do it. And how do you do that while also staying authentic? And
Totally.
I don't know. And so that place trips me up, tangles me up. And often, you know, with a busy life, I'm a mom now too. And there have been times where I just feel like I'm holding so many plates and needs.
You're a circus
that I
performer.
Yeah, that I certainly have asked myself. But I mean, when I do ask myself that, I always come back to yes, and it just refocuses me on, I think, really what you're saying in terms of finding the joy, and that's what is most important. And of course, like, the process isn't always just about joy. I mean, often what we're doing is we're processing grief, we're processing loneliness, we're processing, you know, various difficult feelings, but that there's something about it that so feeds us. And so I think we have to find joy. So to me, it's about finding the thing that is kind of turning you on creatively and leaning into that, the thing that's exciting you. Because then it's easy to be your biggest fan, because you're just stoked on at least some element of what you're doing, and can lean in and go deeper with it, which just makes you more particular and authentic and unique. And then I guess the other part of being an artist now, to me, is almost like the antithesis of social media, and has to do with being in real spaces with real people. Like, as things get more and more like two-dimensional and filtered, and it becomes harder to know what's real and not real, I think we know that this is real, and this
Human
feels
connection.
it feels really, really important. And
So
you're
nice.
so incredible at building community with Donna, a women's group that we're all part of, and you know, you and I have worked together on like really intentional bills and nights of music where we're really trying to make the thing much greater than the sum of its parts.
Totally.
So yeah, those are the important elements of being an artist today to me.
Totally. I love that. Emily,
Yes.
you've been quiet for a while. I
that's
apologize.
okay.
No,
That's okay.
I'm ready for you.
Oh no.
I would love to hear from your perspective, what does it mean to you to be an artist in 2026? And have you been faced with like wanting to quit in this journey, and what kept you on target?
Totally. I don't think there's like a specific moment when I was like, I need to quit. It's more of like an everyday.
Yes.
It's more of an everyday.
It's like the truth.
Why am I killing myself for this thing that realistically so few people get to experience the full potential of? And every day, I remind myself that there's success in doing the thing, and like the journey of doing the thing, and reminding myself of that every day. Because that is the part of it, like you were saying, that is why I do the thing. I think especially in the last few years, it's been a question of like why I should be doing something else for the world right now. You know, like there are things that I can be doing with my money and with my time. And what I've always come back to is that like this is what I was meant to do. And by fulfilling that purpose, by doing that thing and making, I write a lot of music that is taking painful things and turning them into beautiful things, and trying to turn them into beautiful things. And I think that is art on like a certain level of taking the things that we have struggles with, and the human suffering of this existence in a lot of ways, and turning them into things that people can dance to. And and that's like,
Glitter
you know,
pop.
glitter pop. And that is like, for me, I try to remind myself that is building something that is helpful to society, and that is helpful for people. If one person hears my song and is like, I hear that, I felt that thing, and can like find a little booty shake moment from it, like I think that's the reason why.
I definitely relate to your song Lazy, because I'm like I'm like, what else can I be doing today? And like, I'm like addicted to
productivity
and work. Like, I love that word, work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely see myself in that song. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. You feel that way too.
No.
Are we allowed to turn the questions around on you?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I'll take a few for a moment.
Well,
yeah.
what's
Can
your
you
answer?
that same question?
Oh gosh, what does it mean to be an artist in 2026? And have I wanted to quit? Yes, I'm exactly like you, Emily. Every day I'm like, am I still doing this really? Am I really still trying to make this in my mid 40s? You know, I think age is like such a big factor. At least it has been a mental block for me in this business. So something I'm constantly overcoming, and like, hence why I'm wearing my Patti Smith t-shirt today, just like reminding myself of badass bitches who are still doing it, you know? But yeah, I struggle with success and the art, right? And like for a long time, being successful meant that I would basically be making my livelihood from music. And that is what success meant to me. But that has definitely shifted. And it actually shifted when I actually started making some money from music through Sync. But now I'm like, no, the success really is for me in the process, and actually like the writing process, the production process, the creation process. And then separately, I'm definitely finding more success and just internal happiness with building community and like having actual conversations and like connecting with other artists in the space and being like, I see you, you see me, we are in the trenches together, and we're like going through this journey together. And that is bringing me a lot more fulfillment, which I think, to round this all out, I guess I'm going to say that feeling fulfilled equals success to me. So,
And like a year ago, you were going to leave New York. And here
a
we
year
are
ago,
in this
I was going to
room.
leave to New York. That is very true. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. Yeah, I'm very happy to still be here. So,
And New York keeps throwing a lot at you. It's throwing more than just spaghetti at you. And you're like,
yes, it definitely does. No, I'm a firm believer that New York City tries to kick people out. So
Very true.
it really it will do a number on everybody. I mean, it's an uphill battle just to like go get your dry cleaning, right? So like,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So coming back to you,
Okay.
Emily,
Ready?
I would love to hear, what's the worst advice that artists keep following today, in your opinion?
Okay, this is a hard question because I was trying to think of, and like, can I like bring it out to the group? Okay.
Oh my God,
Because I was
please.
trying to think of like advice that you get all the time, and I feel like honestly, I've stopped listening to a lot of people about like when they tell me to like do something, I'm just like, whatever. The worst advice, I feel like I'm gonna maybe switch it up a little bit. And please, if like anyone has like a really burning answer to this, answer it for me. So I know, but I think it's like to really I think there's a lot of pressure on the numbers, and like looking at the numbers and the streaming numbers and the TikTok followers and the Instagram followers, and having even like 20 of those numbers be people that consistently like check in with you and are excited about your releases and are actual fans, are like people that will come back for more whenever you have new things to share, are the things to focus on. And in reality, you know, we look at these really, you know, artists with really, really big numbers, and when you think about it, like, not all of them are that kind of fan. Some of them are passive streamers, some of them are, you know, followed because they saw them tagged on this one thing and have no idea who they actually are. You know, like, we do that too when we're following people on Instagram and Facebook and whatever, TikTok. Facebook is obsolete at this point, but
I actually think this is an amazing answer because
Okay, thank you. I'm like, I don't know how to answer this question.
No, it's spot on because like I feel like there's so much emphasis on the numbers, and I know some artist friends of mine that are like their goal is to be signed, and so they're so focused on the numbers. But as we've seen at our very good friend Andy's events for Women That Rock, sometimes she will book someone who has hundreds of thousands of followers and only like 20 people show up for the show. And it like, just because you have the numbers doesn't mean you're going to have the draw, right? And then but then there are these bands here in New York City, Mother Feather as an example, fronted by Ann Courtney, and you know, their numbers, they're not in the hundreds of thousands, but like if you go to one of their shows, you can't even move. There's so many people in there. And so I think it's a great answer.
Thank you.
I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts to add. Have you ever had to battle a negative voice in your head? And if so, how do you stay positive?
Yeah. I mean, every day, this sort of question of do we keep going? How do I stay positive? I mean, I think it's the same answer about like what doing music today means. Like I try to focus on the piece that is feeding me, the piece that is exciting me, and lean into that.
I love that.
And just go deeper with that. So like for me personally, that's meant exploring the theatrical side and the presentation side of live shows a lot more, and collaborating with more people on that too. So like Alex Oliva, who's going to be part of our next show, she's a dancer and a choreographer, but I sort of bring her on almost like a dramaturg sometimes to just...
It's so smart.
Yeah, it's so much fun for us to just talk about those ideas. And even like I'll come up with, you know, banter for throughout a set and just run it by her and make sure that it's working. And it doesn't erode any of what's authentic about it. It just helps it translate in a way that is maybe more effective than I would be able to do on my own. And then sometimes it's much more theatrical ideas. But for me, that's the part that's really feeding me. And so setting up shows that give me an opportunity to lean into those elements, that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me hungry and engaged. Negative voices all the freaking time. I mean, and community, you guys, you know, being able to bitch about the bitterness and like get that out of our system, and having, you know, wonderful people in my life helps a lot. And then, you know, I think also being able to put things like the numbers into perspective. You know, it was like really awkward trying to name accolades before, because in some ways I super care, and in other ways I really don't. Like my proudest thing is to be my kid's parent. Like I love being their mom. That makes me proud every single freaking day. Like music wise, I love when a song connects with an individual. I love if somebody comes up to me after a show and they're crying because they were moved. Like those are the things that matter. Everything else honestly feels a little fake much of the time. And I think there are so many gatekeepers and businesses that pop up to just feed on our insecurities, and like
1,000%.
So much of the number stuff is just completely inflated bullshit.
Totally. It's paid for most of the time. Let's be clear about that.
Yep, exactly.
Petra, I have a question for you. Are you, and I know that your new project is like, it's coming out very soon, and maybe by the time this podcast comes out, it will also be out, but are you going to incorporate dance, or like tell us, like, can you give us like a little sneak peek as to what?
Of course.
Okay.
When do you think this will come out?
I'm hoping in April.
Okay.
Wait, when is it?
April 2026.
End of May. Okay, let me reframe. Okay. So for gonna lock in. Yeah, I mean, for this new project, I've been trying to artistically challenge myself, because there are so many things when I was like doing music before that I really wanted to do. Like I wanted to have like an orchestra behind my music. I wanted to incorporate dance. I wanted to incorporate horror. I wanted to incorporate very dramatic retellings of my songs through like a specific vignette that I come up with. And for this next song that's going to be coming out, I actually got to hire like all of my friends to be my production crew for this.
Nice.
And one of my best friends in the whole world, her name is B. Goodwin. She is a librettist. She is a stage director, truly one of the best in the business. And I told her, I was like, I have this song. It's kind of weird, but I need you to help me choreograph it because there's going to be an underwater fight sequence. So
Whoa.
I don't want to drown. Can you help me? So when I told her that, she's like, okay, I'm game. Like, we've done crazy things together in the past, like for her production. So she was like, oh, walk in the park, you need to drown, I got you. So we got to
I'm so excited to see this visual.
we
Oh my
practiced. Like, by practice, it was like a Zoom call because my other best friend, Michaela Petrilla, an incredible actress, she's on SNL. She was the hands. And so we on Zoom, we're figuring it out. We're just going to do it live. We're going to do it live. But we talked about safety. We talked about what needed to be done.
Did you have a safe word?
No. That's cut that from the tape. I think because I hired my friends, there was so much trust.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, you have to take all the precautions necessary, but I knew at the end of the day, Michaela was not going to drown me. So it was okay. But yeah, that was one of the craziest things that I've ever done because we were in this it was that really cold day back in February. It was 1 degree outside.
Oh my God.
I'm sitting in a tub, soaking wet.
Sorry.
With
That was involuntary.
get ready for this, with a whole bathtub full of milk because when you put milk in water, it looks better on camera. And I had to
Pro tip.
pro tip, really good to
Wow.
know. Both powder milk and regular whole milk does the job. Looks beautiful on camera. And I had to drown under that several times.
Aren't you lactose intolerant?
I am. I took 2 Imodiums that day. I was really worried of what if it goes into my mouth.
So
That
funny.
was part of the get ready with me 2 Imodium before.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
So I feel with
This is sponsored by Lactaid.
Lactaid, call me. Yeah, I'm really trying to push my creative boundaries here because again,
Clearly.
this is a concept project, so I want to be able to do all the things that I wish I've done in music before. So we'll see. We'll see how it
Drowning,
goes.
check.
Drowning in a bathtub full of milk, check.
I would love to talk about marketing a little bit, the gag stuff that we all have to do in this business, and this kind of ties to how this name came to be. I feel like we're just constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what will work, to what will resonate with people. You're drowning yourself. You're in milk.
Casual.
All the wild things that we have attempted to do. So I want to dig into that a little bit. So I would love to hear from you, Emily. What was the most fun, wildest marketing tactic you've attempted so far in your career?
The craziest marketing tactic, I don't know. I mean, I did a lot of underwater stuff too. I did a lot of being cold and trying to honestly, I think the craziest thing that I did, which didn't end up working very well, was I went really deep into each of the songs that I was putting out for a while and tried to kind of create worlds around the songs instead of around me as the artist, because I'm a songwriter, right? That's where my brain goes. I'm let me tell this story in as specific a way I can, but I lost sight of who I was, what I stood for in the process, right? What my brand was. So I would create these really elaborate visuals and things related to how I wrote the song and the story that I had in my head about the song. I wrote a lot about mythic women, mythology, and from the point of view of other characters, which I still do, but now I use my own. I kind of err on the side of it's also my story. It's also my where it's me writing through this voice. So yeah, I think like that I went really deep into the stories. Like I remember for for one song, we went to the Met cloisters.
Oh, nice.
And we just like traipsed around and like shot all kinds of video at the cloisters, which we to this day don't know if we were allowed to do. No one like stopped us, but we made it like we spent like the entire day there. And I feel like it didn't pay off in the way that I had expected it would or wanted it to. And today, the way that I'm like doing more of my stuff is like we do it all in a day.
Yeah.
We kind of like get everything. I come in with a team. It's not just me, which is also great.
So helpful.
It's so helpful. Like I also love hiring my friends for stuff like that, where it's like we're gonna do this crazy day of filming / photography / whatever. All hands on deck. Glitter abounds.
Tell me what your team consists of typically. Like, who do you have usually on like a marketing day or like a set day with you?
Today it's I work with a incredible stylist, Shelby Green, who is also a choreographer extraordinaire.
Nice.
And so they do a lot of movement direction, and also we come up with like conceptually set and like outfits, and
Cool.
I have a makeup artist that I love and I've worked with a lot, Maddie Payson.
Love Maddie.
And she's just amazing, and like she knows my face so well now, and so we just like I feel like she'll do a sketch and it'll always be spot on. And then I really like working with female photographers these days. That has been like totally game changing for me. I even if it's like the nicest male photographer in the world, I am able to like, I don't know, like you're laughing, like I'm able to just express myself in a way that I feel so safe in.
Yeah.
And that always has come out better. Like it's just coming out, my stuff is coming out the way that it's the female gaze. It's like they know what I'm looking for.
It's in line with your brand too, because you're like making, pop music for women. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. And you also work with Tiger Darrow, a female producer as well. So I love that it's like all women around you.
It's
amazing.
I'm trying to build like an all female / gender like queer team.
Nice.
And that has been game changing for me. And also it fits with my mission. But I still have guys that I work with that I love too, in like many capacities. And
we don't hate men.
We don't hate men here. And they're incredible at what they do, and they listen to me and they hear me.
Amen.
And that's why I work with them.
Amen.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's a man who doesn't.
Singular.
One man. Kalen, what? Tell us like any sort of marketing tactic that you've applied that you're just like, yes, like this worked. I went out on the edge and it worked, and you loved it.
I think they're almost always choices that are like more integral to the artistry. It's like the art vision first, marketing second, but they work in tandem, obviously. So I really love working with artist friends of mine, visual artists. Like for sort of the first like bigger album that I put out and did like a Kickstarter for, I commissioned artwork from 6 different artists, all black and white, all prints. And then with Death by Piano, basically I've either done like a complete album with different individual people, so that I'm really working in tandem on bringing life to each song within a collected style. And so in some ways, what I did with the zine was sort of just leaning on my own artwork for that process, because it was just...
Will you share it again?
Yeah, it was just kind of an organic part of it. It worked with these songs, which were just stripped down in my voice. And so I did lyric artwork for each one of the songs, a combination of watercolor and printmaking, and then decided to make this, which was sort of I guess in some ways, a marketing attempt, because I wanted to have something that people could hold in their hands. Yeah. And it's always like, well, what is it though? Is it CDs? Is it vinyl? Is it cassettes? What's it going to be? And so I was like, well, I know people are still going to have digital. Yeah. So
you have the QR code in there to download the record.
QR code to download the record, painted the QR code by hand.
So well, you painted the QR code?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. That's a really... Did you know that you could paint before you started down this process, or no?
I mean...
Or were you like, wow.
I knew I could do art. I had never painted a lot. I mean, I did fine arts in school, but I did more printmaking side of things.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So in some ways, no, I didn't know, but I was also looking for like...
So cool.
You know how it's just sometimes fun to also find like the medium that we're being less critical with ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So real.
And so that's sort of where I was. And I was like postpartum and like setting up all the music stuff kind of felt, I don't know, it felt harder. And there was something just about like I wanted to live in this album a little bit more. And then as it started to come together as an idea, I was like, oh, this can be a thing. But yeah, I mean, I worked with my friend Robert Lux, who's amazing, on the last Death by Piano EP, Vow. And so all the visuals there are collabs between me and him, and then the previous album with a different artist. So yeah, I really try to kind of group things so that each album can be its world and each song can have an expression within that. And it's fun. It's fun to do.
Such great ideas.
So cool.
I want to talk a little bit about platforms, and I kind of want to just throw spaghetti at the wall and tell me what you think of them, like whether it's like your approach on TikTok, your approach on Instagram, your approach, you just said before, you were like, Facebook's obsolete. Yeah, I would love for you guys to just free for all and tell me your thoughts around these platforms and what's working, what do you like, what don't you like? Petra, you want to start?
It's a good question. I mean, so I've kind of been on a social media hiatus for 5 months almost.
Whoa.
So a lot of what I have done is like more social listening, for lack of a better word. So I've been seeing like what people are doing on social platforms. The one that I feel could be like a really big pioneer in music is Substack. And I know that's a really wild card one, but I was having a conversation with a friend who's done some incredible work for artists, and she was like, yeah, you don't really need press anymore. You're basically your own press with Substack. And that's not necessarily meaning to be like, just write about your own music, but people want authenticity. They want to see who the artist is. I mean, we all doom scroll so mindlessly nowadays, but rarely do we take the time to like pause and read something that makes you think. So when you're able to see that from like an artist that you love, I think that's so interesting and cool. Like I've been a really big fan of Charlie XCX's Substack. She's an incredible writer.
Substack.
She does have a Substack,
Wow,
and she's an incredible, very thoughtful writer, and brings, I mean, you know, she's a whole like marketing study in itself. I'm bratty, but that was so chuggy. We can cut that. But you know, she really finds a way to like bring bring fans into her artist universe, cool. And you know, like strip behind like that persona and like see her songwriting process, her thought process. Like she wrote a beautiful essay about, you know, how she came up with her songs for like Wuthering Heights. And I think it's definitely a platform that might be like a snooze, but can be like a big win in the long run. So catch me on Substack. I'm going to follow all of you.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to create a
Yes,
Substack
you are.
tomorrow.
Start writing your essays.
Yes.
I'll repost and read.
Emily, what are your thoughts?
On platforms? Yeah, I think like I'm on Substack. That's a great.
I'm subscribed
to your Substack. I put my newsletter on
I love
Substack,
it.
and it's like it's
really
definitely a way for me to be like, here's what's been going through my head this month, you know, and like it's funny because there's also kind of some audience tracking on there where you can see if people open it or not. And most people open my newsletter, even
That's
if they
so
don't
cool.
like it, but like most everyone that of my whatever 90 to 100 people that I have on my list, open it and they read it. And that's like nice to know, even if they're not like, great work,
Right.
like I don't necessarily need that, just that I'm getting through. Because I feel like on TikTok and on Instagram, it's like sometimes the algorithm makes you invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm shadow banned for sure on Ryal. I don't know what is
know,
happening. But.
and sometimes like I've been shadow banned before. It's so frustrating, but it's been really helpful. I honestly, like, at this point I have a marketing manager who goes on and like and helps me come up with content, and I don't have to go on TikTok if I don't want to, which is so lovely. And
Wow.
I can do the marketing the way that, and this might be a hot take, but like I actually like marketing my artist project. And the reason is because it's a cool creative project, and like
It's cool.
I believe in my music and I believe in my mission. And so it's another way for me to express myself in the void. And sometimes it does feel like it's the void. And that is the frustrating part about it, is that like I know the people that are meant to hear my music are out there, and it doesn't feel like the algorithms are always on my side for that.
Totally.
And I feel like that's kind of a universal feeling. We know there are people out there who, if they heard our music, would be like, yes, this is what I've been looking for my whole life.
Totally.
How did I not know this artist? Or, you know, whoever, influencer, whoever. Yeah. And so I don't know. I think like it's been a nice reframe of these platforms that like they're not going to give us the 2020 TikTok ever again. We're not going to have that, you know, you can go viral and like that can make your career. I don't think that's realistic to think about anyway. But there's still
I have
tools.
seen it happen to some people. It
For sure.
It is a real thing. But yeah,
Definitely.
to your point,
like that should
it's
be
like
the goal.
playing the lottery.
Like, yeah, exactly. And like the
Totally.
more target practice you play, the better at it you get. And that's if you're not like looking at the numbers every day, it can be kind of fun.
Driving yourself crazy.
Right, exactly.
Kalen, thoughts on platforms?
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy Substack. That's probably where I find a lot of like the most valuable things that I read. I mean, I used to love Instagram because I'm such a visual person.
Yeah.
But with ads and the way the algorithms are now, it's often garbage. TikTok, I can't even go on. I'm completely allergic to it.
Yeah.
I also have someone who does my TikTok posts because with like the Instagram ones that I send him, because I literally can't. It makes me want to throw up.
You have a great email, by the way. I really love, everyone should sign up for Kalen's emails because I feel like they're very heartfelt, and they're like, I'm sure you guys know the artist Kimbra, very similar kind of layout and like structure. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do put time into that, and I have always heard that like collecting people's emails is important. I mean, assuming you're getting real ones, and have a really good click-through rate with my emails, even though I often don't hear back from people. Again, I know that they're reading. And so, that probably those fan blasts, friend blasts that go out maybe are the most, and maybe it would work on a platform like Substack also. I don't know. I mean, I have
IRL platforms in real life. Like, I feel like platforms can also be spaces that we create, you know, like
totally.
Donna's, or like
Totally.
like I've started like a songwriting concert series that has been a really good platform like for me
Totally.
to have and like bring people in.
Wait, share about Homebody. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's so good.
the Homebody sessions are like, it started as a concert series where I would just invite 3 artists to come and play a little house show in my tiny apartment. And in New York, you know, I live in a shoebox, so it's like 15 people max, which made it kind of exclusive and like cool, like in a way that I was definitely not trying to pull it off as. But yeah, we did that all last year. I took a break to release a project, and now it's turned into kind of a songwriter circle. And it's real life people coming in. We're building community. I'm adding lots of people to newsletter lists. Everyone walks away with, you know, a new friend. And every single time there's been a stranger that's walked into my home and I have no idea. I'm like, how did you get here? Like,
So
you know,
crazy.
and it's the coolest thing ever because I'm like, well, tell me how you heard about it and you know, how you got here. And then we become friends.
Yeah.
And it's like the coolest thing.
Building community.
And it's like actual conversations with actual people who then, you know, I stay in touch with through my newsletter or however through the socials. And
it's a very purposeful event that you've created just because I attended Homebody what, last month? Was it last month?
Yes, it was last
Oh
month.
my God, it feels time is flying. But to like go and play a song that I hadn't played live, like in a small setting where you feel very safe, like there, it felt very productive. I walked away from it being like, I feel like I achieved something that I needed to
Yay.
like break through.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Sure.
Petra, you and I did coffee not too long ago, and we were talking about like fan growth and like how to like move the needle in that regard. And you have some amazing ideas. So I'm hoping that maybe you would share them with everybody here.
Yes, it will also reveal that I am a stalker. So there are a couple wild things that I've tried back in the day, throwing spaghetti at the wall. And one of them was in 2020, I had a few songs come out, and I was trying to find ways to, break through. And something that I noticed really quickly is like fans were adding my music to like their personal, really crazily named playlists. Like I
hope
have
you can
to
remember
look,
one of the names.
I can't off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'll have to look and find it like in my history, but there's some crazy names. Like I don't even know. Anyway,
Songs I listened to while making pasta.
No, exactly.
that's very innocent compared to some of the names that I
got it.
saw.
Okay.
But I wish I saw that because I would have been like, saved. And then I realized like, okay, it seems as though like these are like smaller playlists. Like these are not like the large, editorial Spotify playlists, but they have like maybe 150 saves, but that's 150 people that are like saving this music. So I started to get really creative and I started trying to find these people on like social media, if they're like on TikTok or on Instagram, and I would just DM them like links to my songs before they come out. And I'm like, hey, I have a song coming out. Like, if you want to add it, you can. If you don't, like, totally okay. And oftentimes they did add it, which was like really cool. And that was a really like grassroots, like organic way to like.
How much time were you spending on doing this? Just out
It
of
was
curiosity.
2020, so I had so much time. All I had was
time to do
time.
it
all day.
Time was not real. The same day happened like 50 times. Groundhog Day every day.
Yeah.
But I mean, it definitely took time, but it felt like real, and it felt like I was making connections with actual fans.
Yeah.
And some of them are still like fans of me till this day, which is cool. They're like, we're waiting. I'm like, I know, I'm coming soon. Just give me a second.
So cool.
Some of them
I'm
have
drowning in a bathtub of milk. Give
Yeah.
me a second.
I'm in the bathtub. Give me a
Exactly.
second. I've had some of them like send me artwork in the mail. I've gotten
Wow.
letters before. I've had people like draw me and like email. It's crazy. And it was all just because like I found that connection. I'm like, and I stay in touch. I interacted with like, whatever they posted, and that helped. But it was like a interesting yet very stalker-like way to.
I think
you
it's
gotta
so
do what you
creative.
gotta
And
do.
I
You
think
do what
it's
you gotta
amazing.
do. You
gotta do what you
gotta
gotta
do.
No, totally.
know?
I think it's really effective. I think it's very cool. So
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to hear your ladies' thoughts on like, what do you think of the PR agency?
I have so many thoughts on
Emily,
I have thoughts on that. I don't know. Okay, so
you have thoughts on it?
I have thoughts on PR agencies. And okay, there are lots of great people. I think it really depends on what your goals are, right? If you want to get written up and that kind of shows credibility, for you and like being written up in a really good magazine, incredible. That's important for all of us. So many of these things are turning into pay to play that I'm just like, I'm trying to, you know, as an artist, you're always trying to think about where to put your money because, you know, most of it is out of your own pocket and you're choosing on choosing the things that you want to spend money on and what you think will get you the best success, right? And depending on what you like, if you want streams, I don't know if I would focus on PR because those aren't going to come back necessarily with people reading the article and then going and finding you on Spotify and then or whatever on Apple Music and listening to your music. But what I have recently begun doing that I feel like is a tip that could be helpful for people
Please do tell.
I am going after smaller like so PR is all social media now. Like we're all so we're not like doing a ton of unfortunately print like magazine stuff, which I love and still buy like my magazine every now and then. But I have started reaching out to kind of like micro influencers with following. So like blogs, like, you know, there are a lot of college students with music blogs on Instagram. And they really get into like, I've DM'd so many of them and created like personal relationships with a lot of, you know, smaller accounts to like medium-sized accounts on like Instagram and been like, I really like what you're doing. Here's my song. Would love to, you know, chat.
How do you find these people?
A lot of searching, but also my algorithm I've trained my algorithm at this point to be like, oh, there's this, you know, like look at this playlist that has an Instagram account or look at this like little music blog that's doing like video interviews with artists and go hop on that podcast or go hop on, you know.
No, it's super smart.
And I also look specifically for ones that I feel like fit my branding. So like if they're all women, if it's like a female run group, if it's, you know, and I've had a lot of like success with that. And those accounts have small but intense followings. So it's like they have really great audiences that have jumped on board with the people running the account and who like their taste, like small tastemakers. And
such a good idea. How do you train your algorithm to find those people?
I do a lot of like liking and commenting on like accounts that I see featuring artists that I like.
Got it.
So like there's a lot of small accounts like Girl Sound and there's also like Girl Distro is like the new branch of like I'm forgetting like what their first account is, but and I'll just like comment and be like, this is great, and then the algorithm will keep showing me people. But also if you go and like search, there are so many accounts that are reviewing music, and there's all kinds like all genres, and I was like, this is so fun and cool, and like you actually get responses from people and they're excited about talking to you.
Totally.
And that feels refreshing.
Yeah, completely. Kalen, what tools are you using today? Like, I mean, I feel like we have to do all the things from video editing to Photoshop so what tools are in your arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like iMovie for editing. I use Adobe Express for flyers.
Nice.
Yeah, I think those are the main tools that help me.
Amazing. Are you like, what email service provider are you using?
Kit.
You're using Kit. Oh, I've never even heard of that. That's so interesting.
It's changed names a bunch of times, but it's currently Kit, and they've been good. I think it was Converter Kit before that, FanBridge.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
But it's easy,
so simple,
inexpensive, maybe free. I think it's free. Actually,
nice.
It's rare, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's very rare.
Extremely.
Love that.
And as they've changed, they've always like transferred everything really smoothly.
Well, that's good.
I've been using CD Baby to put music
Oh,
out.
for distribution. Really?
Yeah, I changed for a while, but I always found that, well, one, I love their starter story.
Yeah. Derek Sivers.
Yeah, I
Shout
think he
out.
really cared, and I think he really tried to build a company that
Yeah.
that echoed that and mirrored the ways in
Totally.
which he cared. And the ways I've gotten responses has seemed to reflect that there's still some integrity at the core. When I used some other platforms and tested them out because I heard they were better or cooler or whatever, I found that the customer service was not nearly as helpful.
What did
So-
you try? Just for the listeners.
I think
Yeah.
DistroKid.
Okay, yeah.
And it was okay. I didn't have a terrible experience, but I did not get the same kind of response time. Yeah, so I went back to CD Baby for that.
Nice.
And then Bandcamp.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're a good platform. I don't
Totally.
I don't know how much they actually like, it's not a platform to get discovered on. But I think it's like a very artist forward platform.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Petra, what tools are you using?
So I recently taught myself how to use Adobe Premiere.
Nice.
It's
Brave.
really hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's
edited
brave.
my visualizer, and that was crazy. One of my best friends, Marilyn Warshawski, she's an incredible producer. So I was FaceTiming her like, Marilyn, help me. I need help, please. But that's a big tool in my arsenal right now. I mean, honestly, I'm a big Canva girl. I can't lie. You know, I was on there last night making my decks, making my little Instagram stories. I can't live without my Canva account, truthfully.
Same.
I don't
Is
know.
that how you make your album art as well? Or
No,
no?
no,
Okay.
not for this project. That's a little bit different, but it is I do a lot of like mood boarding and pre-production planning, and I'm a very visual person. So I'll like send, you know, my other best friend who's named Marilyn Moser. I'm like, I have this idea. Here's a 20-page deck. Like, here you go. And she's like, great. So it's very important to me just like to be able to see all of that. I don't know if this will be necessarily classified as like a tool, but Pinterest. I know it's a social platform, so that can be like the little asterisk there. But again, like when it comes to mood boarding and like trying to like build a visual world, it's been my go-to every single time. And there are settings you can, and I have done this as on across many platforms as I can. You can turn off all the AI settings, so I don't see any AI generated art, only art made by humans. So then I can really be like, okay, like let me discover and find like an unknown like surrealist photographer that I'd never heard about in like the 50s and go on a deep dive on them. So I guess that's like a tool in a
definitely.
way.
It is. Who
Um,
are you going to use for distribution? Have you decided?
I actually have not decided that yet. So I'm looking for racks. More to come. Tell me what
I
you all
absolutely
use.
love our distribution company that I use for Ryal and for my solo project, and it's Foundation Media. So if anybody wants a good connection there, they're amazing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Good to know.
Talking to real people. So
I love a real person.
I know it's been refreshing. Yeah, I did like the whole TuneCore thing for a bit, CD Baby for in the very beginning, and then had a record with The Orchard, which I thought that was gonna like solve all my problems, but that didn't do anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then also, I used another one that I can't remember off the top of my head. But what about you, hun? What tools are you using?
Yeah. Well, distributor wise, I was with DistroKid for a long time, and then I heard horror stories of artists' music being taken down because they thought it was bots and not being able to talk to anybody. And so I was looking around and happened to get an email from Too Lost at the same time. At the same time that I was looking, and I talked with the A&R there, and I'm with Too Lost now. And they, I'm really loving them. I have a person that I have like that's
A real
assigned to my
person.
account, and we email. Shout out Maverick. I went to LA and I met him in person and we had coffee and it
So
was like
nice.
incredible. But yeah, I really like Too Lost. They have a lot of cool tools. They also have a fan like audience building tool that I use as well. And they pitch direct to a bunch of Spotify editorials, etc., which is also nice. If you're interested, we should talk about it. So you don't have to like do everything.
Just everything else.
Just
Yeah,
everything
everything
else.
else.
Right,
One
exactly.
less thing.
Exactly. Tools, Canva, CapCut for sure.
CapCut.
CapCut is like the video editor kind of thing that you can make. I make all my TikTok stuff on there, and Instagram stuff, and
Super helpful.
Substack. Feature FM is a great.
Ooh, Feature FM.
Feature FM is like a good fan tracking.
Linktree? Is that what you're using it for?
You can, and you can like, they are really good at tracking,
Nice.
People who click on your release link and getting their information, and you can keep track of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Petra, I mean, we all hate numbers, right? We all hate the metrics, but I am curious to know, like, is there a metric that you follow and look towards? And you're like, if this is doing well, I'm on to something.
That's a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
A few are like coming to mind for me. Again, like as a certified stalker, I have like trackers on everything. So if I'm emailing you cold, I'll know if you opened my email. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So I would say like when it comes to tracking, I think, and it actually goes back to something you were saying, Emily, is, translating like social followers to like actual like music platforms. I think followers on music platforms is really, really key. And again, things can be paid for and people can fake that. But I think like for me, a metric is I should have more followers on my music platforms than I should have on my social media. That's kind of like it. I had somebody tell me that and I'm like, that's really interesting because it's like, that's where our art lives. And, like DSPs are not perfect and there's so many different problems with them. But I think like a core metric is like turning that listener into a follower.
Yeah.
And like that would be my goal is like I want more followers on my music platforms than on my social media. So don't follow my Instagram. Follow my Spotify. I don't care.
I love it. That's so
But also
good.
follow both.
Yeah. Follow
But
both.
do both.
And subscribe.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe.
All right, ladies, we are coming to an end. So before we close up shop and eat this pasta, which is definitely cold now.
I know I'm hungry.
No one's
I'm
going to
looking at
know.
it.
I see smoke coming out of it right now.
Oh, perfect. Great.
It's hot.
Steam.
I wanted to
Steam piping
add a
hot.
question, add
Yeah.
an answer to that question too.
Please.
Live shows.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
For me,
ticket
I mean, maybe
sales.
that's
No.
just the most obvious, but that's kind
No,
of the
it's-
part that's most important
so
to
true.
me. Like people
Yes.
coming out to shows and
Yes.
bringing other people to shows because they heard it was fucking great, and then bringing more people to shows,
Yeah.
and then booking me at more shows.
Hell yeah.
That's like the metric that
Which
matters
I feel like
most
is
to me.
happening to Kalen because the show is such a good experience. So
Need to take a page out of your book.
yeah, totally. So ladies, what are you throwing at the wall now? What spaghetti are you throwing at the wall now? What's going to be next? I mean, Petra, I feel like you have a lot of spaghetti throwing happening right now.
I know.
What's
so
next?
it's hard to sort of focus on a singular one. I think the spaghetti I'm throwing at the wall is kind of a little bit of everything and really focusing on this round of like release to do all the things that I was kind of either told not to do or afraid to do before. So being more open about like my background and my story and like what inspires my art, being very earnest, being vulnerable, trying to make that connection. And, it's all about the art and music, but for me, it's all about like fan building. So I am going to try every experiment to build my little cult following. So
Yes.
we'll see what happens. So it's kind of, I'm going to take my whole dish of pasta and just throw it at the wall. That's what I have to do at this point. Seriously.
I love that. Yeah, we're not gonna just, if we do a photo shoot with that eventually, it can't just be like throwing the spaghetti at the wall. It has to be the whole entire plate.
It's
Correct.
the whole
It's gonna crash.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
We will definitely crack the porcelain. That
Yeah.
will feel very, very
Crack
good.
the porcelain.
Kaylin, what about you? What's
I
next?
mean, I think the zine is my current spaghetti throwing effort.
a beautiful one.
Thank you. I was trying to think about the answer to this. I mean, I feel like I've done a lot of fearless shit, and I welcome more suggestions of totally crazy, kooky things that I can try. But I think, to be honest with you, and maybe this was also more to like your other question about kind of what scares you.
Yeah.
I want to surrender to the universe more, whatever that means. It scares me, that notion. Like it feels like taking more faith. I'm like letting go of some of my responsibility. I'm working less hard, but I work so fucking hard.
Yeah.
I work so frenetically,
So hard.
and like I want to work in the right places by putting trust in the things that I'm doing, and again, like kind of going deep instead of wide, still throwing spaghetti in different, in lots of different directions in certain ways. But yeah, I'd like to also cultivate like a little bit more spirituality, whatever that means. I don't exactly know what that means, because I don't have one particular guiding force that can help me actually let go of certain kinds of outcomes more, and just and be in the process, and be appreciative of the present moment and what I'm getting.
I'm definitely taking that with me. So thank you. I also need to tell a quick story about Kalen and her shows. I hope you don't mind. We played the Sultan Room together during a monsoon, mind you. It was
Actual monsoon.
It was crazy how much rain happened at that show. We still packed it out. And Kalen you were 8 months pregnant? 8 months pregnant. And I watched her stand on the kick drum and jump off, and then stand on a piano bench and jump off. 8 months pregnant, singing her guts out. It was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. And I remember reaching over and grabbing Ann Courtney from Mother Feather's arm, and I was like, are we really seeing this right now? And she's like,
God.
we are. I was like, I have goosebumps thinking about it. So definitely see Kalen's show. She's
Wow.
fearless. Yeah.
Copal is definitely a singer.
Yes.
Like, oh baby, you came by this honestly.
Her son.
I love
oh my
it.
God. Emily, what spaghetti are you throwing at the wall?
Spaghetti I'm throwing at the wall. Well, in the spirit of not gatekeeping, I'm working with an incredible marketing agent. Bella's in tune. Go look her up. That has been some really good spaghetti that has stuck. Highly recommend working with, just getting help. Like that was like the biggest shift for me. I am co-writing a lot, and I've had some good songs come out of that co-writing, and I needed to prove to myself that I could do it alone, and now I need to prove to myself that I can do it with other people too. So that has been super awesome. I would say I'm also trying to set goals for my ticket sales, like specific goals and how I'm going to get there. Because I really want to be opening for acts that are like coming through and touring and doing kind of like bigger shows. Ones that I don't feel like I have to text every single person that I know and say, I'm playing a show, I would love you to come. Because that feels tough and annoying.
It's part of the game.
So it's totally part of the game, and I'm going to do it anyway, so look out for those texts coming your way.
Do you have a
shortly.
show coming up?
No, but I'm planning one. I'm planning one for May.
Nice.
Because I'm releasing in May. So
Cool.
Releasing a single?
I'm releasing a single. Sweet.
Amazing.
So that is the spaghetti I'm throwing at the wall.
Amazing. Well, thank you, ladies, for appearing
What about
on
you?
Yeah, what about you?
This.
Yes, this is the spaghetti I am throwing against the wall, which is creating this podcast that I literally bought the domain name 2 years ago, and I've been ruminating over this for a really long time. And so it has finally come to be, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so thrilled to have had you here on the first episode. Yes, this is history in the making, people. And then other than that, Ryal is playing a cassette release show, and we are actually really throwing spaghetti at the wall, which we've been a band that has just constantly released music, like literally
So
like
many songs.
every 6 weeks, just releasing like a crazy person or crazy people. And I realized that I don't even think that people are even catching everything that we're doing. So we are stopping doing that for now. And we're putting together an EP that will come out in September. So the first single will come out in July. And then my solo project, I have a couple of songs coming out and a really cool stripped down show with Kalen and Andrea Wickens that is happening in May. So I'm throwing a lot of pasta. There's like penne, there's spaghetti, there's
solo
like
tour.
there's
Rigatone.
oh yes, there's rigatoni that's happening.
That should be the theme
Maybe
song.
even gnocchi
Yeah.
really
sticks up
yeah.
there, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
All the
But
pastas.
thank you guys so much. And yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thanks for creating the space.
Yes.
Thank you.